20 hotspots suddenly appeared in California, all rather in a row, reaching temperatures of over 1,000 degrees. A tsunami sprung from the Atlantic and washed over Florida coast to coast. Another one came forth in the mid-Pacific, from the deep Marianas Trench sinking Baja. Mexico City disappeared into a volcanic eruption. Quebec province was severed from Canada by quakes and floated back towards France, which is where they wanted to be anyway. Africa rose 8 feet in an hour. The Indian Ocean washed out Sri Lanka and entered the Indian subcontinent. Siberia sunk into a mush of methane gas. Sicily got the boot from Italy. Alaska gushed oil all over the place. Turkey was devoured by Hungary. Arkansas became just Ark. The Eiffel Tower, La Tour Eiffel, lived up to its name and tipped over. Gibraltar fell and sunk and closed off the Mediterranean Sea. Ostino and Passiona were using Rascal's backup jet and were about to land in LA when the jet suddenly veered off and applied full power to its engines. All were aghast to see the LAX airport fracture and slide into the ocean. Nearly out of gas, they landed at the base of the nearby mountains. Their only clue was that the mountains would be safe. In India, Greg and Melanie headed north toward the Himalayas. Mohan remembered his youth and went up the mountains near Mysore where he lived. Lesky climbed up the backbone of New Zealand. Graham was picked up by Papa and they were soon off to the Canadian Rockies in a large truck. Yellowstone National Park blew Magna through its 40-mile radius, a prelude to the big one that was still 30,000 years overdue. There would not be much left of the states west of the Mississippi River. The Amazon jungle flooded. Mauna Kea erupted and buried Hilo, Hawaii. Krakatoa came to life. Sumatra went under. Finally, the San Andreas Fault could take it no more and moved 1,200 feet. What was left of California had become a small island. New Orleans was washed away. Mexico moved into Texas, which indeed once it was. Notre Dame Cathedral in France crumbled away into dust. Russia shook and shook. Japan went under. In the Philippines, only the mountains broke the sea. Australia just about cracked in half. Antarctica sunk 10 feet and out of sight. The pyramids crumbled, exposing the rulers of old. Panama closed. Vatican City was no more. The internet slowed, but still functioned wirelessly somewhat. Ashes fell everywhere like snow. It was all the mother of all near extinctions, one that might erase 99.99% of all life. To the earth, though, it was but a mere shiver, hiccup, and a burp all at once. The pub and the tow center were safe, they being in the same secret place on a mountain in Oahu that had been born on the yet stable portion of the ocean floor. A 50-mile section of the Alps disappeared, looking as if it were never there. You could see right through the gap. Dust blotted out the sun, but for those places in or above the clouds, which, remarkably, became much warmer, while the ground temperature dropped some 10 degrees. Eruptions were diminishing to a low rumble. Austin and Passiona climbed the mountains, noting the water seeping toward, off in the distance. They had taken what they could carry from the plane: an emergency tent, some weapons, their suitcases, a book on edible plants, a tiny stove, a pedal charger, and many provisions. In order to make it in time, they slowed and paced themselves onward and upward, soon arriving in a meadow and resting. "This is hard work," mentioned Ostino. "Yes, but didn't all that tennis help?" asked Passiona. "It did perhaps, but tennis courts are level, not uphill. I'm using muscles seldom used. And didn't you climb ladders at your job?" "Yes, but not enough of them, I guess." "When we get high enough, but still well within the tree line, we'll need to walk the trail to find some kind of airy, cavernous, overhanging shelter near a stream. The animals will come there to drink too. Yes, we'll have to get to know them." "Oh my, look at the size of that wave arriving in the distance. My God, it's a 100-foot wall of water. We are now on the new west coast of America. Rascal's jet just went under. He has a duplicate. Actually, this one was his backup jet. That jet has gone through a lot. No place to fly to, at least for a long while. They had to walk perhaps 4 miles left and right to make 1 mile upward, much of it sideways and winding about, such as a mountain road would do. Clouds of ash were forming and dimming the sunlight. We'll have to get above this stuff soon. Mind if I smoke? Go ahead, the world is turning into one big ashtray. A few hours of struggling on and ever upwards through the chill air, and they broke through into the light again. Ah, warmth has returned. The sunlight is scattering off of the dust layer that it can hardly penetrate. They came to a glade that had a stream-fed pool of clear water that ever amounted from the melting snow atop the mountains. It was perhaps 200 feet across and was nicely tucked into the towering trees and the mountainside. "This is home,"